Well, I hope my choice of vehicle isn't lost on you. The Ghostbusters car. I want to talk a wee bit about male rights and third generation feminism and oh man. Now, I think what the feminists did, we'll start with the suffragettes, right? So, the suffragettes did some great stuff and they were totally entitled to the vote and rights for women, and I agree 100%, 110%, because I agree with the ones who followed them and what they did. First generation feminists from the 1950s and the 1960s. At that time, it was a very traditional role, and I'm Catholic, I'm a believer, Christian, and I can understand those roles. It's easy to understand. But, okay, you want to have more freedom, you want to go and work and everything else, well, that can be good for the family too, and I understand that. And that's what women did in the end, those rights. And then they went into the workplace. And they went into the workplace with aplomb. And that was the second generation feminists in the 70s and the 80s. Now, without going into the 1600s and the 1700s and whatever else, which were very bad for women. It was also bad for men. It wasn't just one-sided. Men were expected to do intense heavy labour during the industrial period. But let's skip that. Let's skip all that, right. In the 70s and 80s, the women were very noble and very brave and fought for rights that women deserve. And they achieved it, and they achieved gender equality. Because the last thing that men had left was to be able to be paid more than women. And the reason men were paid more wasn't because of the work was more valuable or the men were more valuable or anything. It was probably societal that men didn't have as secure a position without money. So if you think about that in the kind of context that if a man doesn't have sufficient money, he isn't a good prospect to marry. Okay. So there was a shift. I skipped that there. The offset of this financial work-related dichotomy that men were getting paid more was that women could have children. So women didn't have to put as much work into having children in the first place. And I'm not saying the raising of the children, I'm saying the act of getting pregnant and then giving birth. That for women compared to men at that time, it was easier for women because they will find someone that will sleep with them because of the psychology of men. Okay? I'm not talking about socially, as far as raising the child, supporting the child and everything else. So if a man wanted a child, he knew he had to earn stability, and that a woman would feel stable around him. Right, well, all of that changed in the 80s when women had equal pay, which I support. I do. And it can actually be very good for the household, and the power balance can be okay. I mean, second generation feminists were very concerned that they were going to lose their men, because they were thinking, oh man, I've got equal pay now, is he going to leave me? And that was a genuine concern for them. They were like, wow, I don't want to lose, I love my husband, I don't want to lose him. And then in the 90s, you started getting third generation feminists. Well, they had no such concerns, and they did not care. Oh wow. At first, men were diminutive creatures to them, and it was easy to belittle men and say, oh well, he's just a child, he's a messy child, he's doing something infantile and stupid. And that was the start of it. So women, over a period of time, stopped caring. It didn't become a necessary issue for them to hold on to men. They didn't have to, because they could go away, get pregnant, raise the child, and do it all alone. And suddenly, they'll get support off of people, and maybe even the government, and what it did was it relegated men to the sideline. The children stopped having male role models, which psychologically damaged many children. I mean, single mothers will tell you that it didn't. My father died when I was 9 weeks old. There is plenty of times in my life I'll tell you that I needed him. This in 9 years or 9 weeks. It was 9 weeks. I was 9 weeks old. My grandfather on my mother's side died when I was 3 years old. If I didn't have my paternal grandfather, I wouldn't have had really any strong role models, and I still really didn't, because I didn't see my paternal grandfather that often until much later in my life, when I'd already developed. My stepfather is a good man. I have a beard because of him, because he used to have a beard. I grew that when I was 19. I've known him since I was 15. I'm 42. Men, to many third generation feminists, are the villain of their narrative. They say, well, you're doing all these things to us. And what they're doing there is, whether they know it or not, they've took something that they've been taught. And some of them know that they're doing it, and some don't. They've taken something they've been taught They keep fighting the fight. They want to be like the second generation feminists, and they want to champion the cause and let's show those men that we're just as good as them and all this kind of stuff. Well, I think society's showing women that we're willing to give women a chance, including men. But do you know what? It's still going on a bit. I mean, I think Nicola Sturgeon is great. I think she stood up for Scotland when we needed it. How can I complain about that? I can't. And I support that she's leader of Scotland. I can't complain. The dichotomy is that if you earn something, it's yours. And too many women aren't willing to earn because they've been taught that there's glass ceiling and all these other stuff. They're more willing to earn it in their own way. I'm being kind. Now, if you do something and you do it correctly, and then you do it correctly again, and you do it, you know, that you're a professional, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female or whatever, you're the one for the job. Doing something correctly, that's being a professional. And that's all it takes. It's quite simple. Get a job right. Going back to socially, the social dichotomy has broken apart, and in the whole of Western society, we men are useless to women now. And more men are going to Southeast Asia to find a wife. And I was in an interracial relationship for 5 years, and the English Tories wouldn't let her in. So that was the sole reason why that never worked, or she would have been over here. I might find women, Western women, physically attractive, but as serious partners, they have been indoctrined into a cult, and that cult of feminism has spoiled them. Too many expectations for men to do everything, and them to sit there and do nothing. Now, I've had relationships with Western women, and it hasn't necessarily been like that. But that's because I've told them these things before, and then they've put a lot of effort into it. So that it makes a better dichotomy. That I'm actually cared about. I'm not just some wee dug. Which is what third generation feminism really branched into. It went from infantile child to you're a dog and I'm keeping you as a pet through the 2000s, and now we're at the point where Western males, two Western women, are dead dogs in McDonald's bins. Just discard and move on, and do whatever you want. And any male who signs up for that is fooling themselves that these women can be anything more than what they aspire to be, and what they aspire to be is third generation feminists. And if you're listening to this and you're a second generation feminist, you go. I fully support your right to say, yep, I support gender equality and I care about my husband, my partner. My partner should be on equal footing with me. I don't berate his hobbies. The third generation feminists don't get why that's important. Second generation feminists should understand, even without me telling you, why that's important, that his hobbies are important to him. But a little exposition. Let's get into it. His hobbies are important because he's not cheating on you, he's not drinking, he's not gambling or the money away. He's took an interest in doing something that is to him an exercise in how to teach your children. His hobbies, deep in his psychology, is a way for him to learn and teach at the same time. If one of your children takes the same interest, he's expressing himself in a very positive manner. I'm reminded of one of the characters from Last of Summer Wine, who was always fixing cars. Was always fixing cars. Now, his wife always berated him for this. Oh, you're dragging muck in and all these things. It's a very negative attitude to have with your man. That's no right. You're being cruel to him. Why are you doing that? Just for your own amusement? And then saying to him, oh, well, you're playing video games, you're like an infant. What do you think, getting all that makeup on, staying? Are you really that pretty? Do you know what I mean? You are playing like you did when you were a kid. It's more complicated now, because you've been perfecting your art. Well, he's been perfecting his fun. Video games are a release for him, that he can do something for himself. And you should be supportive and play with him. Utter joke that women don't jump in with their husbands if their husbands want them to. When you sit and watch a movie, will you not sit and play a game? A load of them are movies. They're just movies you interact with. Anyway, this is more about male rights than video games. Men will always be treated unfairly in the West from now on, regardless of how much men speak up now, because women have twigged that they are desirable and they make the children, and now they have the money as well. Right now, I'm hoping the courts will shift the weight to some sort of gender equality, and fathers will be able to have their children. That'll be a joyous day, that a father could go, well, you know what, you can't just keep threatening me with taking my wean off me because I love my wean. talking to a mother that he's separated to, right? Saying that, well, you know, if you don't do what I say, this is the woman, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to the courts. And the guy knowing that'll be the last he sees is his child. That is pure evil. And that's part of third generation feminism. It's crazy, isn't it? You honour so much financial investment into a relationship, and she can just up and walk away and treat you like you were nothing. It's a strange kind of fraud that these women can do that, because you've got to earn their affection some way. Can you date by actions? Aye, I know that because I've done it. But you know what? For the most part, it's not worth it. Can you date financially? Aye, because you're building a future together, and that makes them feel secure. And you want to feel that security off of them as well. It goes deeper than just minor actions. But it ends up, because of third generation feminists, it ends up as evil.